Hi guys, and welcome to another creepy stories on a stormy night. Now, as you can hear, it's already pouring with rain outside. We really do have a thunderstorm going. Now, I'm gonna wind up the clock and light the fire, and I'm going to tell you what actually could probably be the creepiest story I've ever told. Now, before I tell it, I do need to warn you. If you are an arachnophobe, I suggest you not watch this video. If you're an arachnophobe but think you can take it, I will give you some little warnings beforehand. Now, let's get on with it. Now, it was a day like any other, and I came in my bedroom where I have my little studio. I turned on my computer, and as always, I had no signal. I don't know why it does it, but on the output of my computer, it's a display port, which is the same as HDMI but a bit bigger. So because my TV doesn't have display port, I had to buy a cable which was display port to HDMI. But the only problem is, as I said before, when I turn on the computer, I get no signal. It just says no signal. Now, one of two things can happen. Either the signal will just kick in after a couple of minutes, and I have a signal on my TV, or it won't and will carry on saying it, in which case I have to unplug the cable from the computer for about a minute and then plug it back in, and then it kicks in. I don't know why it does it, but I tell you this because that's what I was doing this particular Saturday. It was a Saturday, and it was very dark, a dark day, as always, because the weather was changing, because it had now become October. So I put on the computer to get no signal. I'm sitting now at the desk, like I do now. The signal never came on after several minutes, so I unplugged the display port side from the computer, waited a minute, plugged it back in, and it came up, which was great. I was then about to do a video. Now, to do a video, I have to go into my G hub, which is the Logitech hub, to set the camera, because where the light changes here so much, so much, I always have to set it. I can't leave it on auto, because when I leave it on auto, it goes really dark, really bright, really dark. It's constantly changing and it drives me nuts. So I don't want to do that. So I leave it manual and set it manually within the G hub. So I did that. Finally got it all set how I wanted it. So I'm sitting down, and for some reason I look to my right, which is there, which will be the left, as you're watching it. On the floor, I've had this piece of wood there for well over a year. A piece of 2x4. Okay, it was what had happened. I don't know if you remember. I built a bed. I bought a bed when we first moved into this place, and the bed ended up collapsing. So I bought another bed, which is the bed. Well, you can't see it, but it's this one here behind now. And the side of the bed was these bits of wood, and I remember I took it apart and put the piece of wood along my skirting board. Piece of 2x4. Okay. And for some reason I looked, and sitting on this board, now I will give you a warning if you want to close your eyes until I say open them. Okay. Sitting on this piece of wood, close your eyes, was this. Okay, you can open them. Now bear in mind, all my Australian viewers, this is the UK, and the biggest spider I had ever seen was something called a cellar spider, which was in a cellar. We was clearing out a cellar once, and this spider I saw was huge, or so I thought, until I saw this. This was the biggest spider I'd ever seen outside of a zoo, It was big, chunky, black and hairy, and I looked and I thought, oh my goodness me. So I thought, I've got to get rid of this beast that is sitting on this piece of wood. What am I gonna do? Now, I have this jar which I've had for many years, which I use for when I do water sounds. Yeah, there's no water in it at the moment because I needed it. Now look at this jar, yeah? It's not a small jar. I thought I'll put it in the jar. Now I'm nervous, okay? I'm not scared of ordinary spiders. I can pick them up, throw them out, no problem at all. But this was a monster. So I get the jar and I go to walk over to the piece of wood, and the spider is gone. So I'm thinking, oh no, where has it gone? It's not there. I look in the corner of the room, and there it is, in the corner of the skirting board. sat there. So I thought, right, now's my chance. I take the lid off of the jar, slowly approaching it. I put it down in front of it, but then I couldn't see it because it was stuffed right against the corner, and I thought, where is it? I pulled it forward a bit, the jar, and then I could see it was there. So I got the lid and sort of just touched it, and it was so big it didn't run, it just walked into the jar. I don't know if you've ever seen arachnophobia, when they find the actual original spider in Venezuela and it's in a jar. Yeah, that bit. Sorry, I was meant to have warned you about that. Sorry. It was like that in this jar. I thought, right, now my PC is in front of my window, and my window has curtains up and nets, and I thought I've got to mess about opening that window. I'll just go and throw it out of the kitchen window because we have no nets up. We just open the window and we can put it out. I walks in with it in this jar, and Driver's License is sitting on her phone listening to Pink Floyd, The Wall. I could hear it through her headphones, and then it dawned on me, if she sees this hulking great beast in this jar, she's gonna have a connery. So I quickly hid it behind my back and then behind my front. I walk into the kitchen, open the door or the window. I undo the jar. I looked in it. It was taking up, here's the jar. It was taking up the whole of that bottom of the jar, filled it up. Yeah. And then I did that. I don't know what that is, but it flew out and went into all the bushes and leaves and everything that we have, because I have like a big massive forest outside my bedroom. It was now gone, and relief washed over me in an awesome wave. Anyway, so it was gone. Now I can only think that it was a house spider, but it was a female house spider, because I've never seen one that big. I've seen big ones before, like big house spiders, but this had a big abdomen, and well, you saw it earlier. It was big and thick, black hairy legs. It was like terrifying. I was so scared. But yeah, that's all I can say it was a female house spider, which I've never seen before, because apparently, like tarantulas, they're like much bigger than males. Most species of arachnids are bigger when they're female. But yeah, so that's all I can put it down to, that was what it was. I hope that's all it was anyway. It's gone now. I threw it out and it did go sort of scuffling off into all the bushes and everything. I just hope it didn't eat any horses or eyes, close your eyes. Otherwise we'd have to get Clint Eastwood to come in his jet and drop napalm on it. Yeah, it wasn't small, it was huge, like that bit of wood, 2x4, and it's sitting on the 4 part. The 4 has 4 inches, so it was big and chunky, but it absolutely terrified me, and I'm so glad that Traverse Lassance didn't see it, because she would have freaked, you know, because I just walked in with it in this jar, and I thought, oh, don't let her see it. But yeah, I did tell her about it later, and she was just very glad that she didn't see it. But yeah, there you go, guys. That is my spider story on a stormy night. I hope, like as I said, you know, if you're an arachnophobe, that you know, you still had the guts, you know, you were still brave enough to listen to the story. I tried to make it as less scary as I could, so it wasn't too scary, because at the end of the day you still want to relax, don't you? You know, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I will be back very soon. Someone said to do a kebab, and so I'm going to do that probably next. Also, my very good friend Stephen wants me to eat a tuna sandwich, so if you'd like to see that, I'll be doing that soon too, because he hasn't been very well, you know, poor guy. But yeah, I will be back very, very soon. But in the meantime, have yourselves a wonderful, stormy night, and I will leave you with this wonderful atmosphere